Welcome to the Men on Purpose podcast, featuring dynamic conversations with emerging and established visionary men on purpose. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate the men on purpose who are committed, creative, courageous changemakers, living their best, most fulfilling life possible. Now, here's the host of Men on Purpose, Ian Lobas.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Men on Purpose podcast. You know, as I've said on the last couple episodes, my goal is to constantly elevate, educate, empower, and evolve you and this show to make sure that we're delivering at the highest level every single time. Now, with that said, today, I'm going to throw a little special at you. We're going to try all kinds of different stuff, right? The high-level guests, high-level interviews, high-level info, and you take whatever you want. And I always tell people, take one thing, just one thing from the hour-long interview that speaks to you, just one thing, and roll with that. Incorporate it into your life. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram if you need to understand how to do that. So today, here's what we're going to do. I'm here with my partner, Aaron. For those of you that are listening, obviously you're not going to see Aaron, so you got to check out the YouTube page or the Facebook content or Instagram content to see us in action. We got this cool setup here. Aaron took 6 hours to set up lights and microphones and all kinds of cool stuff. Because again, it's all about innovation and making sure that we're bringing the best of the best of the best that we can give to all of you. So with that said, the segment we're going to do today is separate from the standard interviews, right? Aaron and I run an organization called Frontrunner, and it's a high-level private mastermind type group. And we do really cool high-level events. We take people on these amazing journeys of transformation, right? You're in it. We do pre-coaching, we do the event, and we do post-coaching to make sure that you're supported. So today, what we discovered in our talks over the last couple of weeks is the general conversations that we have on a daily basis, we should just bring those to you so you can basically just listen in. So today, what we're going to start talking about, and we're going to do this every week, maybe even multiple times a week, just as bonus content, is today we're going to talk about mission and your purpose and having a vision for your life so that you understand that you're either on track or you're not on track. And you don't live in a gray area of it works, but I'm not happy, or it works and it's just not bad enough yet for me to shift. So today is all about mission. Now, before we get rolling, again, our business is called Frontrunner. Like I said, it's events, it's corporate retreats, it's corporate events. We're doing a bunch of amazing stuff. We've got a great wait list right now. So if you want to get on it, want to get more information, or you want to just reach out to us and have a conversation, discovery call, you totally can. Frontrunner, I'm blanking on the web address. You can always go to ianlobas.com, LOBAS.com, and find out all this info. That's where you go anyway for the podcast stuff. Frontrunner stuff is...
Well, go to Ian's website. We'll land you there. We'll
right.
Send you over. It's way simpler, way easier right now.
So Aaron's here, Aaron Velky. If you follow me on Instagram, you see me tag Aaron. He's one of my best buddies. And he's that guy in my world that is synced up. You know, we know where we're going. The vision's very clear. We decided to do something together and merge our powers, our superpowers, if you will. Aaron complements the things that I don't do as effectively or as well as I want to, and I do the same for him. So why don't you tell all these lovely people about yourself?
Well, I won't take terribly long. There's a couple things that I very much believe in, mission being one of them. I've got a personal mission, I know you do as well, and that has really been a guiding force, like the arrowhead that has literally punctured through all of life's barriers for me. I'm the CEO of a company called Ortus Academy. We do financial intelligence education, so we teach people about money, young adults, through our train-the-trainer model for teachers and educators. And then we do financial wellness programs with employers to work with their teams and help their culture and help their business level up by investing in their people, which is really, really cool. A lot of transformation, a lot of success there. I published a book in March. I do a lot of private one-on-one coaching with the bounds being business and alignment. all those different pieces. So there's a lot of different elements to my world that we're going to talk about today, especially related to mission, especially related to purpose, and really just excited to be here. Definitely excited to be here.
So real quick, before we get started, there's so many people that reach out to me and ask me how I make the decisions I make so clearly and confidently and frankly, just easily. And I've got my mission statement here. And the reason why I'm going to read it is because every single word and the order of those words is powerful and important to me in that power. So here's my mission statement for my life, right? Everything that I do is revolving around this. So it's to maximize time spent together as a family out in the world as our playground and our classroom, celebrating every moment, creating lasting memories, and sharing amazing experiences together as a family, setting a positive, powerful, and purposeful example of choosing and living a life on purpose, on our terms, free to choose without restriction or constraint, a full and vibrant life worth living with no regrets for generations now and in the future. That little paragraph to me is a beacon. And so no matter what comes in my life, personal stuff, business stuff, money, investments, people, you name it, I look at that mission. I mean, it's in my head, but I look at that mission and I say, yes or no. I don't waver. I know, or I just say no. It's that fuck yeah, hell no.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Super so easy to say yes or no. Yeah. Mine is much less built with language. Mine is like very simple. Mine is to uplift others through freedom, awe, and artistry.
Sick.
And I think it takes a while to get to that level of simplicity, but building that allows me to very simply say yes to an opportunity, or yes to a commitment, or no. And I don't think there's anything better than being that clear.
I mean, it's helped me so much just in the last year with opportunities that come. I just can say yes or no, because frankly, the first line of that is to maximize time spent with family. And if it's going to take too much time, then I'll take another look at the mission and go deeper. And if it's not being purposeful, powerful, or positive, if it's going to take too much of my effort, if it's not in my wheelhouse, if it's not out in the world, if it locks me into an office, it's a no. It's a clear no. And so somebody gave me an example and said, if I give you $10 million to stay in Baltimore for 5 years, and you've got to work 50 hours a week in an office. And I just said, no. And they said, why? There's so much money. I said, because think about the last line. It says, with no regrets for generations now and in the future, right? That would be a huge regret, because then you go back to the top and say, I'm not maximizing time spent with family. I love being home during the day, working and coaching and hosting the podcast. And it doesn't align. It's very clear. It just doesn't align. 20 million. No, it's a no. Because then I'm trading my children's experiences, moments, and memories with me and mine with them and my wife for money.
Right.
And that doesn't align for me.
Well, and I think strategically it's really important, whether you have a personal mission already figured out or not, it's really important to have something that divides your yeses and your nos, so that there's principles, right? So that you are unwavering in who and how you are, whatever that is, right? Not everyone's going to have the same kind of mission, but when you are so inconsistently committed or non-committal, to fall prey to lust and all these different elements with opportunities, right? You'll compromise anything to an opportunity.
Right.
Someone will immediately notice that and know that they have control over you.
That's a great statement.
It's so easy. Like if I'm so whimsically attracted to money, that someone can pull me from my passion and from my purpose, it's not purpose.
Right.
I'm not committed to it.
Right.
And that you could say the same with relationships. If someone can easily pull you out of that relationship or attract you from that relationship, you're not really in it in the first place.
Sure.
And I would suggest that everybody take the time and pause and work on like, what am I here for? Let's build it. And you might need to get coaching, you might need to get help, you might need support, you might need therapy. I mean, you might need a lot of things to get through that, but it radically changes your whole life.
There's so many things that a mission does and doesn't do. So one thing we talk about that we're going to talk about on another episode, this is one of these little short ones, is abundance and elimination. So the one thing that your mission does, which I think a lot of people don't like, is that they like to run around and be busy. The mission being super clear, it focuses you so that emotions are seen and felt and they're not the driver.
Right.
So like, most people have this job or they work this thing or they are in this position because of something. And most of the time it's not a mission. It's the money, it's the prestige, the power, the ego, something like that.
Yeah.
And what that does is it separates that internal being from the external being, and you're working in this job making, $1 million a year. But over here you go home and you've got to be a different person and you're not happy, but your life is better because of the money. And you're not making clear decisions. And at the end of the day, you're going to have regrets in life, because ask any 80-year-old person what they regret, and they'll say most of the time, time spent with family. They'll say, I should have taken that risk. I should have taken that job in Fiji when I had the opportunity, but I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. And it was too risky. And I had kids, and that's just not a way to live life.
I agree.
But the mission will focus you to such an extent that not only will abundance come, and I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about opportunity, options, effort, education, and money in there too. But I'm also talking about probably the biggest thing, which is elimination, and getting rid of the shit that does not serve you. It doesn't need to be in your life anymore, and you're towing it along because it makes you feel good, or it makes you look good, or look better, or seem better. But if you're disconnected from the person you are and the person that you feel like, the person you've got to be out in the world, it's time to dial in the mission.
Well said, dude.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Abundance for a lot of people is only money.
Yeah.
Right. I want abundance, AKA I want, bigger salary. I want more income, or I want, passive income, whatever. To me, abundance, and I know we're going to talk about this in a future one, but abundance is access, right? I want to be able to access certain people, certain experiences, and the number of individuals that compromise, the experience of their kids growing up, or the ability to make a positive impact in the world when they deeply want it, right? Like deep down, it's there, is staggering. The number of people missing that opportunity is staggering. And I think there's a line that needs to be drawn between I'm going to build a purpose and commit to it and get there, and I'm going to do enough to just put it out in the world. And that line to me is being hyper aware of what the mission is, and then being like vigilant about saying no to everything that's out of it.
Right.
And it's hard to say no.
Confidently say no though, and be respectful about it.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, it's no.
Right. I don't know. Mission seems like an abstract, right? Like, well, what is that? How do you define that? And every person's got their own process. It's hard to just cookie cutter it out. But without it, looking back, I can only say this in hindsight, but I can tell you that looking back, not having a mission, I was like, at best, like a bunny just bouncing around in a yard that had no fence. Like where I was going, I didn't know. I didn't have clarity in what I was attempting to create. I didn't have clarity in who I was attempting to be. I didn't have clarity in what impact I was making. I was hoping to make one.
Sure.
But
most people are.
Yeah, I think many are really intentional about, like, I'm going to be a positive impact in the world, or I'm going to be a positive impact in my family, with my friends, etc. But how can you possibly get there if you don't know, one, where you are and where you want to go? And that the mission is your GPS coordinates.
basically. And I think people, at least the people that I, like you and I have coached a lot of people around the world, right? And what theme I'm seeing lately, just this year, as the bullshit with COVID and like the world's shifting, is people are lost. Their mission actually was to get up every day and get out of the house and go to an office.
Yep.
But they worked that job because it provided a paycheck. And then they put on top of that and felt like, oh, I'm doing good. I'm actually happy. I like this place. I like these people. And when they thought about leaving, like if another opportunity came up that actually was aligned with them, but they're not clear on their mission, they won't leave. You know, I had somebody that I coached for a very long time with a job. And she said, I can't leave because these people are like my family. I said, no, your family is your family. You just like these people during the day. And what we discovered, this is probably, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, what we discovered was that those people, she had a responsibility and accountability to only to a certain extent, which meant she didn't have to push herself too much and be held ultimately accountable for her actions and who she was. With her family, she had to. But she had a terrible relationship with the family because she didn't understand how to be that accountable person because she wasn't that person for herself.
Right.
And your purpose isn't to work or to put food on the table. That's a scarcity mindset. That's a low level vibration, right? Yes, we all know we have that the world we live in, money buys you things that you want. That's a given. And yes, you can go to other countries and things like that and, you know, have these documentaries like Happy on Netflix for $1 a day. These people are elated. I get that. But you still have to barter. You still have to trade something for something.
It's value for value.
It's value, right? It's that, just call it value or energy. So let's break this thing down. For somebody that's listening to this, and remember, you might be the person out of the thousands and thousands of people that listen to every episode. You might be the person that needed to hear this. And you're getting more and more clarity because you're like, damn, I was just thinking about this week and I've been thinking about that lately. Now these guys, I feel like they're speaking to me. That's you. Don't make this thing complicated. The mission is like, what does the world look like when your mission is complete? And if you think about it in terms of military or a boat or a drive, it's the same thing. How do you know? Like for me, I want to drive to California in December with my daughter. And like, how do I know where to stop? Am I stopping at every single possible thing that piques my interest? Like I'm like a little squirrel. Like I see everything cool, I want to stop, but that's not feasible. I've given myself 10 days. And so on our trip, our mission, like this is what it looks like when we're done. I know where we're going to stop is national parks. We're going to stop at anything that has anything to do with sea life, zoos, which is what my daughter's into. And I'm into moments, memories, and experiences with her. Well, I'm cool.
Right.
And I'll take her to places that I think are cool too. And it all has to be aligned with the mission. So the mission is, what does the world look like when you've achieved your mission? And it doesn't have to mean you die. It just can mean that you just level up or expand the mission because now you're leveling up and the mission's leveled up. And this is where personal development comes in too. It's like you can't own that dream mission or like the real true mission if you're not growing and shifting, eliminating the things, the habits, the skills, the attitudes that are not serving anymore. And then again, as far as simplicity, the serving or non-serving choices, it's that simple. It's either toward the mission or not toward the mission. No gray area. It either serves the mission or it doesn't serve the mission. No gray area. You make it that simple. Make it that simple. And it doesn't have to have money or time. It doesn't have to be finite. It can just be a concept that you live your life around, that you're happy with when you think about being on your deathbed. You can check that final box and say, complete. You know?
Yeah, I do. I find that the more time you put into clarifying your mission and really honing it and sharpening it, the easier life is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to break away from the traditional thoughts of chasing the money, chasing the dream job, building your empire. Like these are conventional wisdoms that become brainwashed almost in our culture. And separating from that is very hard. It's like, coming out of a spider web, you just consistently have to rip yourself apart. But building a purpose and building a mission where all of your life will fit under the umbrella changes the whole game.
100%.
And whether you're experienced in, having a coach and building through transformation and identifying weaknesses or not, the starting point for me, and I would imagine for everybody out there, is deciding that you want one.
Right.
You just have to commit to okay, I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
Right. And
the process of building one is kind of like sculpting.
Yeah.
I made this analogy with a client maybe 2 weeks ago as well. If you were sculpting, let's say you wanted to sculpt an elephant, right? You would never start from the bottom of the leg and just add clay in and sculpt the leg.
Right.
You would have a big block of clay and chisel your way down to the elephant.
Yeah.
Layer by layer, right? And you're shedding off pieces and chipping things off. And if you look at the Thinker, the famous sculpture, right?
Yeah.
So that guy was ridiculed back then because people thought he was digging up bodies and putting it inside of clay. It's an amazing, cool story. But he was taking a big block of clay and chiseling his way down so that it looks like a human being. But he wouldn't start with I'm going to sculpt a toe and then attach it to the foot and then attach the calf. And it would look like Frankenstein, right? There'd be all kinds of stitching everywhere. You start chiseling down to a mission and a purpose that has shape and has volume and has feeling and has vibration. And by the time you get there, what you'll have realized is that starting with I'm going to make this happen is the catalyst for a mission.
Yeah.
You're never going to get to a mission that you're super clear on unless you've decided to get there and start sculpting.
True.
And I sense that in all of the people that would be listening to this, especially given what you typically talk about and what's here and available to them, making that commitment is the most important thing that they can take away from this conversation.
Yeah.
You just got to go.
Just deciding that you want to live by a mission, and it doesn't, look, if you want to put some labels or limitations on, I love to be a wild Mustang. I even work from my car most days so that I can change my view multiple times a day, right? But that's also living in my mission out in the world. That's our classroom and our playground. And if you have been that person that says I don't want to be roped in, I don't like structure, I'll wear the crown on that one. I don't like that at all. But what we figured out, my wife and I, is that I like fencing. I also like to know that the gate's open. If you close the gate,
very well said.
I'm going to jump over that shit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But if the gate's open and I can see the gate's open and I have the option.
Yeah, you'll play in the yard.
I'll still play in the yard.
Yeah, love that.
I'll push the fences out. I'll break one of the fences because I got, it's constraining, man. I'll do that.
Yep.
But I like a little bit of structure.
I like to, I said this on a podcast I was on, I think yesterday, and I've said this to a couple different people lately. I like to think of the mission as the bumpers on the bowling lane.
Yeah, totally.
And once you install bumpers on a bowling lane, you can throw that ball
it's
anywhere
a rock star, right?
Overhand, you want to go the corkscrew swing. You can grandma style. Yeah, you can blindfold yourself. Yep. You can go left-handed or right-handed. Yep. You can kick it. There's any number of ways that you can deliver that ball down the lane. And the likelihood of you missing a pin is so low,
right,
that it doesn't matter. You can be wild and free, right? And you never want to put a saddle on a Mustang. You never want to do that. But if you put that Mustang in enough space and close that area off so that it is consistently able to move freely in a direction, it'll travel really far.
Right.
Similar to a bowling ball down a lane with bumpers, it will hit pins.
Such a great analogy.
Even if you miss, you could have the worst, it could barely be moving. It will probably hit a pin.
It'll probably hit.
And if you are looking for any kind of success, the objective then, if success is hitting pins, right? Most people would be bowling not only with no bumpers, but with huge gutters on all sides and not sure which lane to throw the ball down, right? So they're like, I'm gonna throw it in lane 2 and then lane 4. And I'm gonna try and hit the pins on lane 3.
Dude, yes.
Just throwing stuff, right? And first picking a lane and then installing bumpers on that lane where your nose are, right? This is my boundary, will give you so much consistency and clarity to hit pins, and you will just start knocking down pins left and right. And it's amazing to see individuals that do this work with us individually and at Frontrunner stuff. When we get clear on their lane, their bumpers and their lane, their whole life shifts. The people around them shift, their family shifts, their success shifts, their business, like everything follows, because they are this moving instrument, unstoppable object. And as they travel, they pull everything with it like a tether on a boat, right? And once you switch from being pulled by the boat to being the boat, life is different.
And that's Frontrunner.
That's Frontrunner.
Dude, right into that.
Zoom.
So, like, something that came up for me, which that was a freaking amazing. I've never heard that before.
I've never said that before.
That's such a good analogy, because most people, you're right, they do this like, I'm going to knock the pins down on lane 10. Oh, and then lane 2, I like that opportunity. In lane 6, that looks pretty good. But what about lane 10? Like, and they run back and forth, and all of a sudden, you die. And you haven't lived a life fully fulfilled. And if that's not your thing, if you're okay with just, I call it a bag in the wind mentality. And don't take offense to that. If you're sitting here listening going, well, I kind of like going with the flow. Go with the flow. But what Aaron's saying is put the bumpers on, not as constrictions or restraints, but as a guide to understand where the goal is. Because if your bumpers are 4 feet wide and the lane's 4 feet wide and you want to hit the pins, you better be damn accurate on that ball. You know what I mean? And if it's like you only can hit the center 3 pins, if you hit the other ones, you fail. Well, now you have everything. You have so many more levels of odds against your success.
Totally.
And then kind of like the way we coach, the reason why coaching is so crucial to someone's growth is because, like, one of my coaches, Troy, says to me, you're a race car. You gas pedal down when it's appropriate and you just blast down that racetrack. And my job is to be a helicopter and look out for things that are a mile, 2 miles, and 5 miles ahead of you. Warn you about them, coach you through how to get through them, and then allows you to sit in the pits, we strategize, and then you can gas pedal down without smashing up your car because there was a spot of oil in that turn and you should have known, but you slid out, hit the wall, and although you're still okay, now you're not as effective or fast. So coaching, especially in the mission, can help you get really freaking focused. It's like a water jet. At the beginning of a water jet, it's just water that can be a puddle or drench your head. But then with concentrated force, focus, and attention and energy through that nozzle, that shit can slice steel. Just the same water that annoys you that you wash your car with or you step in a puddle can slice a piece of steel when it's focused and concentrated. And that's what we're talking about, is taking your energy, and instead of being diluted all day, because I know there's some of you, probably most of you, that are listening to this and you go, fuck, I don't have time for all this shit. How do you do all that stuff? How do you run 3 businesses? And you're always with your family, you always do this stuff. Well, the mission does that, right? And then the purpose is almost, let me work this out in my head, because I haven't thought about this with the bowling ball thing yet.
Dude, so I want to lean in on that. Like, one, I've made the analogy of the bowling, like, bumpers. I've never like expressed the idea of multiple lanes, right? But if you think about,
that's real for people.
I agree. If you think about like success in a mission and being able to do all of these things, quote unquote, bunny ears around that, what we've really done is put bumpers on a bowling lane and found that set of pins that we're triangulating towards. And then with the same set of pins, we've set up another lane aiming towards that set of pins. And then another lane aiming towards that set of pins. So you almost have like a spoke and a center.
Yeah.
And I might get one ball slowly moving towards those pins and then be like, cool, I'm rolling another ball down this other lane.
Yeah.
And you can expand, but the pins that you're aiming for don't change.
Totally.
And the mission allows you to, consistently throw a ball multiple at the same set of pins. The challenge is not only determining that set of pins, but like craftfully identifying the lanes. And, for anyone that's like, I'm ready to make the transition, what becomes clear when you have a mission is all the things to say no to. So imagine if 60% of your daily nonsense, right, was eliminated, and you could say, oh, well, I'm focused. The 40% that you've been putting into, the right pins, now becomes 100. You're naturally going to go faster. You're going to go quicker. It's going to be easier. It's going to bring you much more effective.
More
efficient.
Efficiency
is going to go up. Like all of the transitions that somebody wants out of life.
Totally.
I want more abundance. What is that?
Right.
I want more time with my family. I want all these things. Well, of course you're going to get that quicker because you're putting very minimal effort. And if we say no to all the waste, it's going to happen fast.
Totally. Now, something else we're going to talk about in another episode, because Aaron and I just kind of mapped out most of the things that people ask us about, ask us our opinion or expertise on, is making meaning of things. And so something that came up for me when you were saying that is a lot of the distractions, which are, the multiple spokes, that can also be, a common analogy I think would be like spinning plates. Like a lot of people have 50 spinning plates in their life, and probably 40 of those are not getting them toward any goal.
Right.
They're just like running around spinning plates, and all of a sudden you get to like Saturday morning, you're like, what just happened? Where did my week go?
Where am I?
But really what I find as a dad, and I didn't find this before, so this is just my knowledge now, is that the next generation needs me to be focused and at my highest and best. And it allows for me to make choices, which another topic we're going to talk about is the power of choice. And it allows me to make choices that are not as serving. However, I understand that if I make that choice that's not serving, I can get right back on the mission, right? And the trajectory. One of my friends, and you guys are going to hear this, I think in a couple of weeks when we release it. His name's Vaughn Gittin Jr. And he's a well-known race car driver in the drifting circuit, best in the world. And his mission is simple. So if you're thinking about my mission that I said, or Aaron's mission is very simple. Mine's a little more involved. I don't think the word complicated is real. That's your shit. That's what you do. And that's what I do. Like, I choose to make shit complicated and muddy. That's fine. My mission is just more involved, and it's been refined over 3 years. So don't get me wrong. When you're hearing this and you're like, fuck, I need a mission, like, write something out on paper and use that same journal or put it on your phone or your iPad or your computer. Go back and refine that shit over and over and over. And as you personally develop and evolve, and again, another topic we're going to talk about is the importance of personal performance mastery, which is one of our actual courses that we built because we saw the need for people that are reading business books and people that are executing high level in business and shit. The one missing that we found was that they're not the people they want to be. They just have what they want to have. They do what they want to do, but they're not who they want to be. So before I go down that rabbit hole,
we got a lot of episodes.
We got so many episodes. Vaughn said something to me on the podcast that I'd never heard him say. Maybe I wasn't listening, but maybe we just never talked about it. And he said, dude, my mission's simple. My mission is to always have fun and put smiles on people's faces. And that could be your mission. So every single freaking thing you do is, will this put a smile on someone's face? And will this be fun for me? And then obviously define fun, because if you like murder people for fun, like that's not, it's not, don't go that route. like define fun, define positive fun. And then what does it mean to put a smile on somebody's face in a positive, purposeful, and powerful manner, and own that shit. And every decision you have, like your birthday, I made a very easy decision that I don't do paintball. I don't go skydiving. But if you want me to take you up in a plane and fly you around, I'll do that shit all day.
Yep.
Alignment, non-alignment.
Oh, and then it becomes my choice as someone soliciting you or sharing or offering to respond to that effectively, right? And as a person with a mission, it's very easy to be like, oh, cool, I respect that.
Right.
If I don't have one, I could be very easily off put. So it also centers me
Totally.
to be a little less rigid
Right.
and reactive, and instead I can respond from a place of understanding,
Sure.
because I know that having a mission makes a no very easy.
Right. But you weren't making meaning of that no. So like for those of you who are listening, so Aaron's 33rd birthday was 2 weeks ago.
2 Mondays ago?
Yeah. And he said, bro, let's go. You know, Aaron and I live close to each other. We're business partners. We're friends. Like, let's go. Let's go paintballing. And I said, yeah, I'm not into that, man. It's a no for me. Aaron at that moment, you know, think about if you said that to one of your good friends. Aaron at that moment had the choice to be like, fuck, man.
This is my birthday.
My birthday, man. Do you not like me? Do you not this? And dude, he literally think about that. Aaron said, cool, I respect that. Great. I'll see you Monday on my birthday and we'll go shooting together. Great. Right? Clear. Aaron could have went down that slippery slope of making meaning of what I meant by what I said, how I said it, why I did this, what's up with him, what's going on. It could have fucking derailed your day for an hour or a whole day or even 5 minutes.
Yep.
But that's the shit we're talking about when it comes to the bumpers and no bumpers and the lanes being open.
Yep.
You get to go down this rabbit hole, and that's your choice of meaning. But if your mission is straight, Aaron knows my mission's straight, and paintball doesn't align with it.
Easy.
And maybe I'm just a big wimp. I don't know.
Probably.
But it doesn't align. It just doesn't align. But going shooting and hanging out with some really high level dudes and having some really great conversations aligns, and that's what we did, and we executed on it.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we have here is purpose, and the vision I have for purpose is that it's who you are on the path to the mission. So I think people think like, oh, my purpose in life is to make money or provide for my family or to do this, but that's not a purpose. That's a pillar in the mission, or that's a pillar in there somewhere. I think that purpose is who you are on that path. That's my purpose. My purpose is to be a guide, a coach, a mentor, a leader. My purpose isn't to, live a life of no regrets. That's my mission. Mm-hmm. My purpose is to be this guy on that mission. Because if I'm a dick or an absentee father, I'm not living the mission or my personal purpose.
Right.
So I'm not on purpose for my mission. So again, this is a huge elimination conversation. It's about cutting all the shit that just does not align with you anymore. And that could be your job. It could be your spouse. Obviously, you're not gonna you can't cut your kids out. Your fault. It's your fault. I have kids. It's your fault why your kids are like they are.
Well, and I would also say that you might have to cut you out.
You gotta cut
like
you
you
out.
have got to carve the old version of you away from yourself.
Totally.
Your patterns, your behaviors, your traumas, your fears, your phobias, like those are usually the first thing that need to go.
100%.
And as a byproduct, you can start to see the other places that need to be eliminated: spouse, partner, work, job, etc. But until there's a willingness to cut your arm off to escape your own patterns,
right,
you're trapped under that rock. And I would argue that most individuals on the path of I'm sailing and I'm following the wind, believe they're on a sailboat.
Sure.
But their arm is under a rock on the sailboat. And they
Right.
can't freely move around the cabin.
Right.
And the detriment and the price of that in a moment is negligible.
Sure.
On aggregate over a long period of time, it's a monumental number. And if you are just coming into awareness about mission and purpose, if these words feel like something that you're excited about or ready for, or maybe in between those, you're curious about, it deserves the attention and intention of discovery, right?
Totally.
It's super important to have this, even if your mission is incredibly underdeveloped. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
And
It's the only way to develop it.
it's the only way. But like the idea of purpose as the wheels, it sounds like in your analogy,
that's clear to me.
Purpose is the bowling ball, right? Like,
I think so.
You know, I'm moving this towards the pins, and I'm making these choices on a regular basis.
It's more fluid than the bowling ball, though, because the bowling ball doesn't have a choice to be anything more than a bowling ball, if you think about it, where you have the power of choice every day. And this is the responsibility. And again, another thing we're going to get into real deep is the power of choice. And we get deep into that. But like every day you have a choice to live the mission or not, to be on purpose or not. That's why this is called Men on Purpose, because we all have a choice. We're not leaving it up to anybody else. And if anybody else comes in and you feel or registers to you that they derailed you, they stopped you, they did something to you or not for you and took you off your path, that's 100% on you. 100% on you. I'm telling you right now, there's somebody that's going to yell at their radio, their phone, listening to this right now. I want you to challenge me on that.
Yeah.
I want you to challenge me on that.
Good luck, by the way.
Yeah. I want you to challenge me. It's been one of the pieces of my mission for the last 6 years is to really understand how to be in full integrity and own 100% of your shit, no matter what anybody else does. And it's a challenge. However, the freedom that I feel from that, and look, don't get me wrong, does stuff still make me mad? Sure. I allow it.
Yeah.
The stuff still pisses me off, make me sad. Yeah, but I allow it. It's my choice. And sometimes it's not a conscious like, I'm going to choose to let that make me mad right now. It just comes up because it's past programming, it's bullshit from your parents. I'll give you a for instance. Last year I had a business partner steal a shit ton of money. Really mess up a lot of trajectory and stuff going on. In those moments, I had choices to make. You went through this with me. I had a choice to make. I can be pissed off, mad, angry, upset, revengeful. I can do all those, which is looking backwards, again, away from the mission.
Yep.
Or I can really figure out how I made this in some way allowed. Even though I didn't steal any money and I didn't do anything wrong, maybe I didn't do everything right. So I can't sit there and go, oh, poor me, this happened. I share the story with people so that they understand that I've been through some tough shit in my life. I've been broke as hell. I've been, houses getting foreclosed on, which never happened, which it should, but like I saved it. Still, like I've been in those positions. Yep. Then I made choices to get out of those positions.
So what I hear when you share that story and being a part of that story is that you've got a clarity in the difference between fault and responsibility.
Sure.
So these things may not have been your fault,
right,
but it is your responsibility to deal with them and manage them and own them.
Right.
And in my opinion, having a mission is about moving from fault to full, always on responsibility.
Yeah.
There's nothing inside of that bowling lane that is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
And
take that shit on for a second. Like, that's big. What you just said is very big. It's not as simple as Aaron just said. It is big. Everything within that lane on your path to your mission and who you are on purpose is on you.
Yep.
Sit with that for a second and take that on. Like, keep going, but I want people to understand.
That's
it.
The impetus for success and in every element, every kind of coaching I've done, every kind of coaching I've been coached on, all things, if I'm unable to own what's happening for me, with me, because of me, I'm not aware.
Yeah.
And mission will create, by definition, in order to be on a mission, everything in your fold has to be within awareness.
Yeah.
Your periphery has to expand. Your vision has to expand. Your language has to expand. And what we're really talking about here is the ability for someone to go their whole life without responsibility because of fault. Sure. It's his fault. It's their fault. It's that person's fault. It's the market's fault. It's this. No. In mission, it's all my responsibility. Fault is irrelevant. Nope. I don't need to spend time on whose fault is it. I can just go, this is in mission, so I'm fully aware. Sure. I'm responsible to make this happen. I'm responsible if it doesn't happen. And now, because I'm clear on my mission, as I move through this and consistently move towards those pins, my responsibility is to make sure that I'm throwing the ball.
Right.
The bumpers are still there, the pins are still there, and I'm consistently reevaluating it.
It's a course correction. Every boat, every airplane, they have to course correct because
we got some great, there's a lot. People are probably like drawing pictures. We've got 17 different analogies going.
Okay, now draw a picture of a sailboat. Now draw a picture of an airplane. Now draw a picture of a bowling alley. 6 different spokes coming into one set of pins.
Good luck listening in.
But what we're saying is, when you standing at the top of a hill, and there's another one. Draw a hill. Now draw a ball. Draw you with a Superman costume on. I can simplify this. When you're standing at the top of a hill, and this is how I run it every single day. And there's bullshit that happens every day. And I'm like, okay, I get it. When you kick that ball down the hill, and say there's a lake down there, your intention is to kick the ball down the hill into the lake. What you don't know is you haven't walked that whole hill and studied every blade of grass and every topography change and every rock, right? What you do know in your vision is that, there's some houses around, there's an old lady walking a dog over there, and there's a kid playing over there. So when you kick that ball, the moment it leaves your foot, every single thing that happens is on you. Whether it goes down and just hits the lake, whether it hits the lake and gets swallowed by a whale and the whale dies, that shit's on you. If it goes and hits a rock and goes left and runs into that old lady and knocks her over and breaks her hip, on you.
Yeah.
If it goes right and smashes a car window and that car catches on fire and blows up a house, on you. I'm telling you, dude. People don't realize that the moment the ball leaves your foot, whatever happens is on you. And that's your vision and your ideas and your intentionality. Although you intended for it to go just into the water and be a happy day, and you run down, you grab it and run back up and kick it again. If it runs over that old lady, that's your shit. You can't say, well, the old lady was in my way. Oh, I didn't know she was there. Oh, I didn't see her. Oh, she should have been wearing reflective gear. This is at night. No, it's all on you.
Yep.
So now draw a picture of a person with a ball and an old lady getting run over.
This would be a funny episode to have like an artist, kind of like they do
the
in
real
the courtroom.
fast.
Yeah. Or like a whiteboard drawing or like the courtroom drawings where they're sketching out what's happening. Okay, and someone's like, all right, new analogy, bowling. Like,
let's put an airplane, a boat, an old lady on a hill, a guy on a hill, in the bowling alley.
Yeah, I think the concept that we're trying to get across here, and really the point that we're trying to make is that having a mission will change everything for you and forces you to really be intentional about your actions, your choices. And it evolves slowly, but it all begins with, I'm going to make one. Yeah. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to work through it. I'm going to identify this. I'm going to find the right help. I'm going to take the baby steps to get there. And I just really want to encourage anybody listening to like maybe listen again or go back 5 minutes to a different analogy and just identify the one that means the most to you and write down right when you hear it, right when you get like the chills. Like sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, I don't know where it came from.
Universe.
I just get chills. I'm like, that was a good thing to say. And I have to go listen to it and make sure that I'm living into it. But if you got moved by any particular analogy or any particular piece of this conversation, listen to it again, pause, and that's when you should be writing.
Right.
And identifying and making small action choices.
Totally. Just pay attention to the emotions coming up inside you. Happy, mad, angry, sad, emotional, crying. Something that we said on this episode, which it was like 2 hours at this point.
probably like 40 minutes.
We sat down and we were like, 10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes real quick.
There's not a single conversation we've ever had in just 10 minutes.
But this is why we wanted to do this, because these are the conversations that we have just in our just normal dealings with each other.
This is actually how we have conversations. Right. So like when you're like, what do you guys talk about? It's usually this over like a salad.
And there's really fun shit that happens too, and there's cool stuff. But like from this, like it's interesting. Another topic we're going to talk about is alignment with people in your life. Yeah. Elimination and abundance of the friends and the level of those friendships. And you really have to align with people that can push you. So I know that I have to be very responsible with my purpose, who I am, and my mission, where we're going, and what it looks like. Like, could I be irresponsible with Aaron? Could I walk in and be like, "Oh, the fucking world sucks. It's all against me. This is bullshit." Like, yes, I could. And then we'll have a conversation that gets me back course correct and on track, because that's the type of person that Aaron is for me, and that's the type of person I am for him. So I challenge you, all of you who are listening, like, who's that person for you that knows your mission like you do? They might not feel it like you do, but they're there as an accountability partner. And I'm not talking an accountability partner that does some BS like, hey, if you don't do this week, you got to eat a fish, or like, that's dumb. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't serve you. I'm talking an accountability person that says, do you think that was helpful for your mission? And if it wasn't, what are the consequences? What are the things that are missing? What are the sacrifices that are taking place that your choice now has? And like, you have a responsibility to them to then own that shit, not get emotional, not get crazy and defensive, but say, you know what, you're right. I didn't see that. They're your blind spot checker. Yep. And you got to have somebody in your life, or multiple people in your life that can do that for you when you can't do that for yourself, which we all have those moments. It just is. We all have those. We won't be clear, but we have them.
Yeah, and I know we need to wrap, but yeah, like I feel like we should definitely talk about and debunk accountability.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like lately the conversation of accountability is like, I'm going to make sure you do it, and then I'm going to enforce a consequence.
Yeah.
And I think of accountability as someone holding me to my highest integrity.
Sure.
They don't need to like wrap me in ropes and like punish me.
No.
The objective is for them to say, like, I know what you're capable of, and that's the vision of you that I have.
Right.
And then I'm like pulled to act and operate in that way, rather than feeling like, oh shit, I gotta
do this
pay
for
this guy if I
guy.
miss this event, or, you know, I gotta.
Because then it's not for you.
Right.
It's for the shaming or for the consequence. Right. No, I do believe that when you put money up and skin in the game, it changes the dynamic within your.
Just an investment, right?
Dude, not that one. Indistractable. Indistractable and personality isn't permanent. Has a lot of great stuff right at the end about the effects that when you put skin in the game, what it has on you. We'll get into that as well. Yeah. But I totally agree. And then I think something that I'd like to add, what was coming up for me, is that it's not about holding accountability to the actual activity. It's about holding accountability to who you are when you are going to do and then do the activity. Right. There's two lanes that an accountability partner should be holding you to. It's not, did you get it done? Because if you were an asshole about it, or if you were totally defiant and just did it because the accountability partner is going to make fun of you or make you drink hot sauce or something dumb, you're not doing that for you. You're doing that to please someone else, which is the opposite. Now you're building a habit to please others, and that's not serving.
Yep.
So if you're an accountability for somebody, partner for somebody, your spouse, your kids, your friends, at work, you're focused on who they are and what they're doing.
Yep.
For that mission and that purpose.
Magic. I hope this was valuable for people.
I know it was valuable for me, man. I learn something when we talk every time.
Me too. Me too.
So, any parting words?
Cowabunga.
About to kick this mic over. No, so listen, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about that is on my mission, right? Powerful, positive, and purposeful. Growth, change, trajectory, alignment, evolvement. And I'm doing that as who I am, and I'm doing that as what I'm doing. That makes sense? Yeah. Who I am and what I'm doing. Yeah. I said doing twice. And that's the mission of this podcast, is that constant involvement, education, empowerment, and evolution, to make sure that all of you who are listening, including us that are producing these and bringing the content, that we're all moving in the direction we choose to. Not better, not up, whatever it is that is evolvement to you, that's what we're after. So if this was helpful for you, we'd certainly love you to go on, rate and review us. I mean, every day I get people DMing me, reaching out on Facebook that are sharing what they're getting from this. And like I said, don't take every single thing. This is a lot of great stuff. But remember, this is also from Aaron and I's involvement over the last, almost decade in personal development and growth of ourselves.
It's taken a long time.
And that mission, again, it doesn't come day one. I wrote a mission out right before my daughter was born in 2015. And that mission from there to today has been evolved every week. Count how many weeks? I don't know.
I don't want to.
I don't do math. It's 5,000 weeks. So anyway, this is our new segment. You committed?
I'm committed.
I'm committed. This is the new segment of Men on Purpose podcast. We are Men on Purpose. We're being on purpose for you. We want you to be on purpose. And if you need us, reach out. We're here for you. That's our mission. That's our purpose. We're happy to jump on a call with you if you want help on designing a mission, understanding your purpose, understanding what to eliminate. You just have some questions. If you want to join us on our next Front Runner event, which you've got to join a waiting list at this point, and we will be opening up additional spots at some point. We've got events in December, which is going to be in Baltimore, our home city. It's going to be a sick event. Cool people, high-level talks, accountability, performance coaching, masterminding, just all around awesomeness.
It's going to be a lot of
fun.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, you can hit up menonpurposepodcast.com, which will take you to my main website, ianlobas.com, IANLOBAS. And you can find out everything you need to know about what we're doing on Men on Purpose, our coaching, our masterminds, front runner events, booking private stuff with us, corporate events that we're doing. Whatever you need, we got you. As long as it's on our mission, we got you.
It's well said.
So everybody, Aaron, thanks for being here.
Happy to do it.
Everybody, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. And we want to hear from you. What are you doing that's awesome in the world to change the world and make it a better place? Let's do this thing together. Again, appreciate you listening. Hit up the website, rate and review, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Find us everywhere. If you like this, I'd love to get your feedback to understand what we can do to evolve this segment too. So, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks again for listening to the Men on Purpose podcast, where our mission is to educate, elevate, and activate every man to truly live their best, most fulfilling life possible. To find out more about the podcast, our guests, or becoming a man on purpose, visit menonpurposepodcast.com and choose your most purposeful path forward.